fellow believers in Christ. I'm still working on that Revelation video, but I just wanted to share something about healing and, cleansing and deliverance and all that stuff because not only do our bodies need ongoing healing because Satan is constantly attacking our health and we live in an imperfect world. We eat, poisoned food and we breathe poisoned air and we drink poisoned water. So our health is always under attack because of the condition we live in. And because of Satan, he'll actually try to bring disease and accidents and different things into our lives to make us sick, and even plagues. But then we also need emotional healing because of our former life of sin has emotionally scarred us. We're scarred in relationships because maybe we were in one relationship and then in another and another and another and another. You know what I mean? You get scarred from that. Um, you don't know how to relate to people very well anymore when your relationships are always ending a lot of times on negative terms. And then you don't really know how to have a successful relationship. So you need emotional healing. A lot of times people need psychological healing if they took drugs. That messes with your mind really deeply, and you can have mental problems because of it. Your thinking can be really messed up. Or if you are a brainwash victim, which many people are and don't even realize it, because of your childhood, your parents could have said things to you repeatedly that literally brainwashed your thinking. And same thing with teachers, even people at church could have said, or the media that you were listening to, music, movies, all that kind of stuff, books that you may have read, may have brainwashed your thinking so that you don't think straight. So we need all kinds of levels of healing. And a lot of us, some people need healing from poverty because they were raised in poverty. Their parents didn't know how to manage money properly and how to make correct decisions with resources. And so then they grow up as adults having all the same issues, not knowing how to manage money, not knowing how to manage the resources that God has given them. And so, and I've been through this myself. And so, we live impoverished when we really don't have to. And there's no reason for us to be living in that way except by sheer ignorance. We don't know any better. So there's all manner of healings that we need. And when we come to Christ, we get all manner of healings. But I just want to point something out. Besides all the other vast differences between the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross and the sacrifice of animals in the Old Testament, which you see a picture of it here. One of the big differences is that in the Old Testament, when they sacrificed, the lambs or the goats or the cows or the pigeons or whatever it was, they never mistreated the animal. They never tortured the animal. They never brutalized the animal. They never did anything shame. They never treated the animal with any kind of shame. They didn't scold it. They didn't get after it. They didn't punish it in any way. They didn't falsely accuse the animal. They knew the animal was innocent, and they handled it as kindly as they could when they were sacrificing it. Sometimes if it was a small animal like a lamb, it was even carried to the sacrifice and then just held gently while the priest, slashed its big arterial vein so that it could bleed out. And then the animal would pass out before it was even dead because, you lose consciousness when you lose enough blood. So it was extremely humane way of killing an animal. Very low pain. The animal would experience very little pain and actually even be unconscious before they died. And the animal wasn't mistreated in any way. It was just literally put to death. You know, when they burned it, they always burned it after it was dead. They never burned animals alive. Never, never. Um, like a lot of heathen pagans do. They love to burn things alive and let it be tortured. But the Israelites never did that. That's not what they were commanded. They were commanded to kill it first and then put it on the altar. But what you see that's so different with Jesus, one of the things is he was shamed, mocked, humiliated, stripped naked in front of the whole town, brutalized to the point that he wasn't even recognizable, um, possibly even as a man. It depends on how you read that verse in Isaiah, but he certainly wasn't recognizable as Jesus. But the verse seems to say that he wasn't even recognizable as a man because it says both in visage and form. Your visage is your face, and your form is your body. So he was so brutalized both in the face and in the body that he was unrecognizable. And that's why a lot of people think that it means he wasn't even recognizable as a man because his body was so brutalized. You couldn't tell if it was male or female. Now everybody knew he was a man because they knew he was Jesus up there on the cross. But if you only had to tell by looking, you wouldn't be able to know because of all the blood and all of the brutalization of the body, his body. So Jesus experienced something, and they didn't put any animals nailed to a cross. You know what I mean? They never tortured the animal, not even for a microsecond. It was the most humane killings that there could possibly be, and the most low pain killing you could ever experience. Jesus suffered the most extreme pain of anyone's ever experienced. And it didn't just take 5 minutes. It was basically a day and a half of sheer torture and emotional torture as well, and public shaming. I mean, he suffered it all. you know, all of us have had demon voices speaking to us, telling us that we're hated and that we're worthless and that we should die. But Jesus had a whole town of people telling him that in the physical realm. His physical ears heard those words that they wanted him dead. It wasn't just voices in his head. It was a lot of people telling him that. And in addition to the shaming, the spitting, the mocking, they hit him, they pulled his beard out. I mean, they whipped him until probably a lot of his back was, back skin was just all totally ripped up. And the whips went to the front of his body too because of centrifugal force, I think. He actually had whip marks on the front of his body as well. Then sticking the long thorns into his head, into his skull, and it went right through his skin and maybe even partially into his skull. No animal ever suffered that or anything. No animal ever suffered hardly at all, period. Their suffering was very, very, very little. Some of them, I'm sure a lot of the animals knew that they were going to die because, I'm sure they knew. But the physical suffering was extremely low. So when the animals got sacrificed, the Israelites were forgiven for whatever sins they had repented of when that animal was sacrificed. Then if they sinned again, which of course they always did, they'd have to go sacrifice another animal later to cover their future sin. But they didn't get the whole deliverance package that we get with Jesus Christ. And that's why Isaiah says he was bruised for our iniquities. No animal was ever bruised for the Israelites. And Isaiah said that he carried our shame, he carried all of our sorrow. it says that he was totally brutalized for us. No animal ever did that for any Israelite in the Old Testament. And that's why it says, by his stripes we are healed. It's not just a physical healing, it's a spiritual, mental, emotional, psychological, social, financial. It's all healing. Now I'm not saying that your life will be perfect and you'll never have problems again, but total restoration of every manner comes through the cross and through Jesus and what he did for us on the cross. There's no shortage of restoration. There's nothing left out. There's no aspect left out that you can't ask for God to heal and take care of for you, whatever your problem is. He can fix it, even if you yourself have mental disorders. He can fix it. And that's what Jesus died for. He died not only for your forgiveness, but also for your complete restoration. So if you're still living in some sort of problem, whether it's you still have financial problems, you still have physical problems, you still have emotional problems, relationship problems, problems at work, you can come to God for all that stuff and expect deliverance. Not just, wonder if he's going to deliver you, but expect it and put your total faith in it, because that's what Jesus died for. He died for all your needs, not just your need to be forgiven, which is your greatest need, but he died for your other needs as well. And I have had tons of healing in my life because of Jesus Christ, and I still need more, and Satan still attacks me, but I've had massive healing. And there's also some things that are wrong with me that don't cause me any pain or distress, and you would think they would, but they don't. And that's the type of healing too. But anyway, my personality has been altered since I became born again. And I know that's because of the mental healing that has taken place. The years of brainwashing and the years of rejection and all that stuff have been cleansed, cleansed out of my mind so that I'm no longer affected by that stuff. And my mental thinking is a lot more clear. I think I have brain fog after all these years because of all the poisons that are in our environment. I do suffer from brain fog, but I'm over 50 years old. But he's actually healed some of my brain fog too. He told me to take something last year, and I took it, and I did notice a noticeable reduction in my brain fog. So I just want to tell you, you have problems in your life. You need Jesus Christ. You need his forgiveness. You need to put all your trust and hope in him. Don't trust in what the talk show said. Don't trust in a healthy diet. Don't trust in having money. Don't trust in what your best friend tells you. Put all your trust in Jesus Christ. Okay? Don't trust in the success of your children or your spouse. Put all your trust in Jesus Christ. And he'll heal you in every single way that needs to be healed. He did something for you that those animals never did for the Israelites. And by his stripes, you were healed. So just like by the cross, you were provided salvation. Anyway, I hope that blesses you.